Welcome to my living room floor. I feel like floor videos are sort of universally accepted in YouTube culture as either super emotional videos or apology videos. This one's neither, and also both. So hello there, my beautiful, lovely internet friends. I wanted to take a moment to film a very impromptu and just from the heart sort of message because I have not been able to actually film anything for a long time. And when YouTube is kind of your job, along with other social media platforms and some other, speaking things that I do, that becomes a bit of a problem, right? Because making videos is what I do, and I've suddenly become completely paralyzed and unable to articulate anything. I wish I could show you all of the half-started videos where I've sat down to film something. I've gotten 5 minutes in and just been like, this is trash, I am trash, turn the camera off, try again tomorrow. And I couldn't figure out why, and then I had this realization this morning, and I thought I would share it because it's Mental Health Awareness Month and it greatly ties into that, and also kind of explains where I'm at. So the aspects of my character and my personality that I've invested myself in for the past 3 decades of my life, to a large extent, especially anything in the public eye revolved around, I think we're gonna see Monkey. Hi Monkey, she's recovering from surgery, and oh baby, doing good, but taking it slow. Things that have always really mattered to me is that not only online, but also in real life, this stems through every possible relationship in my life. I present myself as someone who's very rational, very understanding, very compassionate, extremely hard to offend or make mad. It's basically impossible for most people to get any kind of real rise out of me because I'm I get it, let's talk about it, right? And that's been how I've been for years. And more than that, especially when it comes to public speaking or making videos or interacting with the public, it's always been top of my list to make sure that even if I'm talking about a difficult subject or something I'm struggling with or something awful happening in the world or injustice, that I try to do so from a balanced perspective of trying to understand both sides of something, or at least presenting one side without rage and anger, but trying to talk through it in a human way. That's what I've based my identity and honestly to some extent my worth on. I'm that's what I'm good at. I'm good at not being mad. And then friggin' therapy happened and threw a wrench in everything. I've talked about this briefly on things like TikTok and Instagram, but anger is not something that I'm comfortable with. It's not something I've ever been particularly versed in. Real good at stuffing things down, forgetting about them, rationalizing them away, being anger's useless and it only hurts people, so why would I feel it? It's not an effective tool, it's not an effective emotion, so I'm just opting out. Come to find out, that's not how people really work well. Long term. And so over the past year, my lovely therapist and I have sort of slowly been breaking that down. And the first many weeks of us talking about this was really me just going Jamie, I get what you're saying, but you need to understand this is another reason why I think anger isn't okay. This is where I saw it used very poorly. This is where I've seen it ruin relationships. This is where it's been very ineffective for public discourse. This is why it's a scary, awful thing and no one likes you if you're angry, and I want people to like me, so I'm just not gonna. But eventually, after months of working on this, I kind of had a bit of a breakthrough where I started feeling anger in small moments and letting myself feel upset, not do anything about it, not act out on it, not hurt people, not anything like that, but just feel it. And the whole analogy about dams breaking loose? Suddenly that's what happened. A couple weeks ago, kind of out of nowhere, I went from being okay, I'll experience anger in this controlled setting, I'll let myself feel it for a whole 15 minutes before I stuff it back down, to suddenly feeling it every second of every day in an extraordinarily overwhelming way. And if you know me, I get that I don't seem like an angry person, but everything that I've not been angry about for 30 years, I am suddenly furious about. I am so unbelievably angry. And this is weird for me to kind of wrap my view of myself and my identity around because I'm Joe, you're the person who doesn't get super angry. What are you doing? I feel like it's kind of rocking my identity to some extent. And when I say I'm angry all the time, I mean from the moment I wake up, I am ready for a fight. I am just pissed. I am just please, somebody say something stupid so I can do something about it, so I can tell you how wrong you are. And for the record, I wouldn't do that. There's a difference between feeling anger and acting on it. And there's delicate lines in there, right? But it's not even about anything in particular. It's about literally anything I hear, anything in the news, any memory that I have that I never allowed myself to express emotion over. Just, I'm such an angry person and I don't like angry people. But I'm trying to allow my body to do what it needs to do and open the floodgates. And from my understanding, if I let that happen for a little while, it will eventually normalize out because that is how our bodies and our emotions work. So with that being said, I have found it very difficult to present myself in any kind of public way because I feel like for the past 3.5, that's a long time, years of being on the internet, of making YouTube videos, my persona, which is authentic, has always been about like bringing peace and calm and gentle and all of that. Like that's not only like the biggest side of me that I've shown, it's also the biggest side of who I've been. And I think where I kind of fail as an entertainer, or I don't even think of myself that way, but like as someone who gets in front of a camera, is that I have a very difficult time faking it. I have a very difficult time talking about something if I don't really care about it. I kind of think that's why I'll never like explode to a crazy level on YouTube, because you can like follow the trends and the cool topics and all of that, and I've occasionally dipped my toes in that and just been like, man, if I don't feel it, I can't fake like I do. So as I've been like hulking out in my mind for weeks now, I've been locked in this internal struggle of I don't ever want to speak or post anything if it isn't real. And it is very evident to me, and I think other people, when I don't totally feel or mean what I'm saying. But what's real right now is not something I'm used to or something I'm comfortable with. And I also don't know how much of it's appropriate to share, like how much anger is useful when speaking about topics, because I think there is a small amount, but it's definitely not wise to let anger completely overcome any of your thoughts or actions. I'm kind of realizing that I created this like mental cage for myself that I'm now seeing evidence in other aspects of my life, where I don't expect myself to be anyone but totally pleasant, and other people don't expect me to be anything but totally pleasant. I mean, for the most part, we all have our flaws. But now that I don't feel totally pleasant all the time, I'm not sure how to present myself with this new addition of anger and actually feeling upset about things. And I haven't quite figured out where to put it. Again, let me be clear. I think one of the reasons why I was so against anger for such a long time is because I saw so many bad examples of it and people acting poorly on it. There's a big difference between feeling anger and doing something about it. So I'm not doing anything about my anger as in causing harm to myself or others. I'm trying to find like healthy ways of letting it out, of processing it, of like letting myself feel it, but also having an outlet for it. And I don't know what those tools are yet. And so sometimes I feel like I'm just locked in this spiral of internal burning rage. And maybe it's okay to show some of that. Maybe it is okay to talk about some of that. And I'm still figuring it out. And making YouTube videos has also always been something that has been so therapeutic to my own journey of knowing myself, of making peace with myself, of healing, of coming through things. And so I just wanted to sort of be like, hey, this is where I am, this is where I'm at. You might relate. I'm curious if anyone has had a similar experience with anger, and maybe if you have any tips or tricks to not stuffing it down, but to like processing it and coping with it in a healthy way, because I am currently collecting those tools as we speak. So I'm on a number of social media platforms. I'm on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube, but YouTube has always been where my passion and my focus is. I have a much larger audience on TikTok. I have a fantastic audience on Instagram. I'm so grateful for all of it, but I kind of feel like the reason why I've been able to like still do TikTok videos and Instagram posts, because those have been authentic and real, but they're quick little moments. And I also don't have as much of a connection with that audience as I do with you, because you guys have been with me since before I lost my leg, which was life-changing, and 2.5 years ago. And I think that's where I'm like, I can't fake this. I can't fake who I am for you. Because first off, that's not helpful for anyone, but secondly, it's also very apparent when I'm doing that. So I just wanted to put this all into words so that you know where I am, and so that by speaking this out, I kind of know where I am. And I also think by doing this, it will kind of help me maybe take a step further down this journey and unlock what it means to be more of a whole person. Also, I'm not totally sure of the schedule, but I do have a video coming out at least in the near future talking about like happiness and how I've been able to experience that more. And it might sound very counter to everything I've just said, but I honestly think that allowing myself to get angry and feel things has unlocked this whole new world of being able to really more deeply feel joy and appreciation and gratitude and happiness. So if you see that video even like right after this one, you're like, hold on, Joe, didn't we just talk about raging against the world? Know that they are actually kind of related. Thank you for listening. I truly, really, deeply appreciate it. It blows my mind that you guys are here, that you're willing to listen to me, that you care about me. Please know that that does not go unnoticed or unappreciated. It is one of the biggest honors of my life, so thank you. A huge thank you to my patrons, especially everyone who has been so patient with me posting a lot less extra content there in the last couple weeks. Thank you. Thanks for still being there. I appreciate your support. If you're interested in becoming a patron, I'll put a link on screen and also down below. But to you watching this video right now, thank you so much for spending a few minutes out of your day here with me today. You could be anywhere else in the world doing anything else, and you chose to hang out with me for a few minutes, and I truly appreciate that. Thank you. I love you guys. I'm thinking about you, and I will see you in the next video. Bye, guys.